Hello TMNT fans, this is RRPG here, and I present to you my review of episode 22 of the Ninja Turtles cartoon on Nickelodeon. Sorry for the long delay as I was swamped with E3, work, and other things, but I still haven't forgot about you or the thing that I do best. Today's episode sees the return of that one guy you can either love or hate, but is there more to the episode than him having half of the spotlight? Oh yes there is. Watch and find out, okay? This is episode 22 called The Pulverizer Returns. One night out on the rooftops in New York, the Turtles battle the Foot Clan where they easily defeat them without any problem. Seems too easy for them to win that fast. Shredder attacks Dog Pound for failing to find more to join the clan, but realizes that the Krang he captured has technology from its own kind. Knowing this, he devises a plan to steal the ooze from the TCRI building to upgrade his army. As our heroes are about to retreat back home, they catch a glimpse of another foot ninja who looks very robust for someone to be a part of the group. They catch up to him, and the ninja says Donnie's name to catch them by surprise. Underneath the mask is none other than that clumsy ninja wannabe known as the Pulverizer. The Pulverizer tells them how he joined the Foot by joining Chris Bradford, aka Dog Pound's dojo, to get inside the Foot to leak information about their plans to the Turtles. Even he went as far as being promoted to the rank of Hodan no Ejiki. Donnie, being very displeased, lectures him that the term Hodan no Ejiki means cannon fodder, meaning that he is an expendable soldier used to be defeated first before the strong ranks start to attack. He still insists that what the Pulverizer is doing is a bad idea, but the Vigilante still insists on doing his part while leaving our heroes to go back and wait for more intel. Back at the sewers, Splinter becomes disappointed with his son's constant victories as he feels that being dependent on their traditional weapons have made them very complacent, meaning them being very attached to their own weapons without even being prone to learn new ones, essentially. Thus, he forces his sons to switch their weapons until they learn to use anything that can be used as a weapon, even like a magazine. As the Turtles practice their new weapons with no luck, Donnie receives a text from the Pulverizer to return back to the surface of the TCRI building as the Foot are about to strike. When the Turtles arrive, they are attacked by Dog Pound, Fishface, and the Foot while getting beaten up in the process because of their switched weapons. With no other choice, our Turtles switch back to their traditional weapons and give an even match to our enemies. However, that doesn't stop the Foot from retrieving the mutagen as they make a hasty retreat while leaving the Turtles and the Pulverizer behind. For now, knowing that the situation has become more dire and serious, Donnie convinces the Pulverizer, who reveals his name to be Timothy by the way, to quit the Foot while he still has a chance. Unfortunately, Tim decides to stay so the others can learn from his intel. Back in the sewers, everyone except for Donatello, who is still worried about the Pulverizer, starts to brag about their easy victory. Too bad for them as Splinter learns that they disobeyed his order and demands their weapons as punishment and to fight without them until they learn their lesson that they can make a weapon out of anything. At Shredder's hideout, Saki orders Dog Pound to obtain more mutagen to experiment it on the Pulverizer. The Krang warns him that the ooze is unstable on Earth, and the results can be unpredictable, in which he demands to him to use failsafe measures instead. Sometime later, the Pulverizer calls Donnie and reveals that the Shredder is going to experiment him with the mutagen, much to Donnie's horror, while Tim thinks that he can become a mutant superhero like the Turtles. With no other choice, Leo and his brothers go up to try to rescue Timothy. They end up chasing the Foot with the Shell Razor and end up having a brief scuffle with Fishface, who is trying to slow them down by giving their van a flat tire. Donnie ends up using the stealth bike to reach up to the Pulverizer while the others follow behind on foot. The Foot are about to experiment the mutagen on the Pulverizer, but Donnie arrives at the nick of time to save Tim from being mutated. Donnie ends up fighting the Foot while using a dust broom as a weapon, since the pole of the object is like a bow staff. The others arrive to fight, and they end up using objects as weapons to fit their liking, and they end up putting a great fight against the Foot. However, the eager and arrogant Pulverizer still wishes to be transformed, and he runs over to the mutagen and gets it poured onto him, much to Donnie watching in horror. Timothy walks around about hitting Foot Clan members with the mutagen while agonizing in pain, but the transformation kicks in where he transforms into a giant mutant blob. Dog Pound switches to failsafe measures by setting up the building to self-destruct when leaving the Turtles and the mutated Tim behind. Ladies and gentlemen, say hello to the 2012 rendition of Mutagen Man. At first, the Turtles try to call out for Mutagen Man's real name, and he recognizes them while also learning of the horrible monstrosity he has become, and tries to attack the Turtles once more. Donnie comes up with a plan to trap Mutagen Man in the container that had the mutagen, and the plan ends up working while our heroes escape the exploded building just by a rat's whisker. Back at the sewers, the Turtles and Splinter explain about Timothy's condition, and Donatello vows to Mutagen Man that he will change him back to his human form someday. Elsewhere, the Shredder becomes upset about the Turtles' victory and the Foot Clan's incompetence. In turn, this makes the captured Krang declare that our heroes need to be destroyed. to which Saki concurs that they both have a common enemy in their sight to put an end to. After that, episode 22 wraps up with great promise. That's basically episode 22 in a nutshell. I have to say that this was actually a pretty good take, but that doesn't mean it's perfect. Let's go over the traditional route before I give my final consensus. First off, my favorite thing about this episode is the lesson that our heroes learn about using different weapons to benefit any cause. On both sides, ninjas have to do this kind of thing as they can't remain complacent with their trademark weapons. That's why Ryu Hayabusa in the current Ninja Gaiden series can use all sorts of weapons to do his bidding, instead of just using the dragon sword all the time, which actually makes me feel complacent as I tend to use that weapon more when playing those games. So, the lesson is now on me. Ugh. Next, I like some of the sound effects at the beginning when it came to Donnie finding coins and Mikey receiving a text message to where we hear the sound effects of the coins in Super Mario Bros. And the startup sound cue from the Game Boy or Game Boy Color. As you know, I am a gamer, so that is something that I love when TV shows give good references to them like that. Also, the instance where Donnie uses Raph's size is a nice reference to the voice actor Rob Paulsen, since he played Raph in the 1987 series, so I found those instances of Donnie practicing the size to be nostalgic to a degree. Finally, the best highlight in this episode is the first appearance of Mutagen Man. In the 1987 series, Mutagen Man is the alter ego of a man named Seymour Guts, and he accidentally stumbled upon a vat of special mutagen and dismembered himself into a living pile of guts and vital organs, while in a container suit that is fueled by mutagen to survive. Timothy's condition ends him up in a container, but no mutagen is there to act as a catalyst to his survival. Other than that, it was great to see the return of another character that is heavily remembered for his transformation, even if Timothy is far more unorthodox than Seymour Guts. Now, let us discuss two of the episode's biggest flaws. First of all, the Pulverizer returning will leave a bad taste on anyone's mouth. His appearance and objectives in this episode's plot is enough for the viewer to continue giving him a cold shoulder. Just the fact that he gladly volunteers to sacrifice his humanity to become a mutant is just recklessness and does not make him a cool character. Sorry, Timothy, but you still are the monkey wrench of this show. I will admit that your costume as a Foot Clan member was actually pretty cool, but that's about it. Finally, one major gripe that I have with this episode was that while it was another episode that is heavily tied to the story, this makes the 6th time that April O'Neil becomes absent in the plot. You figure that since she is forced to stay in the sewer lair in the previous episode, that she would have more involvement after that. But no! If she had at least a cameo, then that would make it just fine. But this whole thing where she's being left out of big plot lines is only neglecting her character even more. Her strong growth in episode 21 was strongly needed, as it delivered. But since we are closing in on the season 1 finale, her 6th absence is very unacceptable. I do like the writing in the show, don't get me wrong, but sometimes there are instances where it can be bad, and this episode is definitely one of them that falls flat within that factor. Otherwise, this episode has the term cowabunga written all over. Granted, the episode does have a couple of major flaws that set it back from perfection, but some of the other things that take a major presence, such as the Shredder using the Krang technology and the Monkey Wrench becoming an ugly mutant blob, is more of a guilty pleasure. Episode 22 is awarded an 8 out of 10. It's a much better take than the Pulverizer's debut, but looks like we won't even have to worry about Tim's shenanigans for quite some time. It's not perfect, but one that is worthy of viewing. Okay, dudes and dudettes, that wraps up this episode review of the Ninja Turtles cartoon on Nickelodeon. Tune in next time as we take a look at episode 23, called Parasitica. Mikey must fend for himself while a mutant parasite takes possession of his brothers? I smell more filler, but one that could actually be worth the watch, much like the Cockroach Terminator. I know it was aired in the UK, but I'm an American, folks, so I'll wait until it releases on iTunes or the PlayStation Network. Anyway, be sure to rate, comment, and favorite this video, as well as subscribing to me for more of my content that you won't find anywhere else. This is Double RPG signing off, and I say hi 3 to you all. Ciao!